Whiskey Bar coming at you.
Coming at you. It's getting wilder and wilder as we sit here.
When we record one, we record a few,
That's right.
And this is one of the mid of the series. I guess.
Get better and better.
Again, remind you all to thank you for tuning in first and foremost, but remind you all to subscribe and to give us the good old like and thumbs up. We've got a dedicated channel on YouTube for Mojo Whiskey Bar. We've got one on Facebook, the page, and all that sort of thing. So appreciate you tuning in and checking us out. But new riff. I'm kind of tired about this a little bit.
I know a lot of people that do drink new riff, swear by it.
Well, I don't think I've said too much before we started sipping today. But new riff, actually, Amanda and I, we went to a Reds game a few weeks ago, I guess. And New Riff is in Newport, Kentucky, which is right across the river from Cincinnati. We didn't do a tour, but we just went to the distillery, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's a really cool place. The bar they have upstairs, and they had so many products.
Yeah.
Like I've had quite a few different New Riffs over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea how many different things that they made. So. But while there, I think these are readily available. I think you can find these. I picked up the New Riff Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, aged 8 years, 100 proof. I think all of their whiskeys.
Really?
Wait, I was going to say they're all 100 proof, but that might not be a true statement. But most of them are.
Okay.
And then the other one we're going to try today is the Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey, aged 8 years, also 100 proof. Which one do you want to try first?
Do the bourbon. Right? Yeah, let's do the bourbon. Let's see what we got here. Boy, that was nice. And that was nice.
And the other thing, I don't remember what I paid for these. I think the 8 years were a little bit more than their
what's their
standard offering.
Is it a 4?
I can't remember if it's 4 or 6. But you're not going to break the bank with New Riff. They're in a. Don't hold me to this exactly, and this isn't necessarily across the board, but they're usually in the $40 to $60 price range if memory serves correct. Yeah. So they're kind of in that good sweet spot. It's a crowded space there, but
it is. The nose on this is really soft. There's nothing that's over that's going to beat you down.
No,
but man, it does smell good.
I mean, there's an ethanol that's kind of hitting me. I mean, granted, we just poured these, so I don't know. I haven't had a lot of opportunity to breathe on these. I mean, I almost get like a little bit of almost like a toffee-ish or caramel.
There is. There's a caramel toffee-ish, like a salted caramel almost.
Yeah.
It's real soft. I mean, it's kind of feels like a candy shop. The candy shop that you go in with their baking,
making fudge
right in front of you.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I get out of this. This is one. My wife would maybe do the nose on it. She wouldn't drink it.
No.
She had actually chocolates here that she could eat.
Well, some of the places put out these wonderful bourbon chocolates.
They're outstanding. Yeah. I don't understand why Amanda doesn't do that when I come over, but
yeah, well, she's not here tonight, so maybe she's got some ready for you.
That's what I'm thinking. That's good.
I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. So, all right, I'm going in for a taste.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good.
That's pretty smooth.
I get a little bit of oak, almost like a little bit of that barrel char.
Yeah.
It's not. Sometimes you get the oak, and it's
too much.
It's like you're chewing on some bark.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
It's not like this. The heat isn't a killer.
No.
I mean, my chest isn't burning out, so it's very smooth all from front to back.
I think the nose carries through on the palate a little bit.
I do too.
I think there's that salted caramel, toffee.
And really, it's kind of just hanging around in your throat a little bit. And so it's a great aftertaste, to be honest with you.
And there's some sweetness here, not in an overpowering way, not like in a Buffalo Trace way.
Right.
But there is a subtle bit of sweetness, but I think like that salted caramel is good, right? Salted caramel is the salty sweet.
Yeah.
It's a good combination of flavors for sure.
Good.
Anything else on the bourbon before we switch over to the rye?
No, that's It was my first time tasting that stuff. But it was really good.
Well, you and I have talked about this off camera, but you know, first impression is important, I think, with a whiskey. It doesn't have to be the final impression.
Correct.
What I find is if you get into something, you try something that you like, maybe on a first sip or two. What I like to do anyway is I like to sort of invest like a Friday night or a Saturday night with that bottle.
Correct, just that one. Yeah.
And just kind of because as you get into like maybe the second or third pour, I think you start to uncover more about the whiskey.
You do. You know, you're able to get a little deeper into the palate, what you're tasting on your tongue. It'll change. It could change from the first pour to the third pour. And then you can start just buying stuff online. I mean, so there's stuff that happens.
Yeah, we need to make we talked about this before. I can't remember if on a video in the past. We need to make an app that when you get to a certain point where your phone doesn't work and doesn't let you do buying. I bought some dumb stuff.
I got some dumb stuff.
You know, I guess sometimes Monday or Tuesday morning is you get a package, you're like, what in the heck did I order? Like, oh wow, that's amazing. So
good times.
I think another thing that's kind of fun when you get into a new bottle is maybe experiment around with it. Maybe add an ice cube, maybe add a little bit of water and that sort of thing. You can really start to open up different flavor just by doing simple things like that too.
And there's nothing wrong. So if this is not the bottle, but if I've cracked bottles in the past where I had my first pour and it just wasn't what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And I'll let it sit.
Yeah.
And I'll come back 3-4 months later, and it either grows on you or it changes. It's kind of taken it. It's breathing.
Something happened.
Something happened inside
either
that
to
bottle.
you or to that bottle.
Yeah, probably me.
Well,
but it changes, and so you're not guaranteed that you'll like it on that second pour, but you could. So
you could.
So
don't give up on it.
Don't give up on it yet.
Yeah. I have some that
you just can't get past. I mean, some of it just.
This is not one.
This is not one of those.
New Riff. I'll let my cat out of the bag now. I think this is one of my favorite whiskeys.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good, and it's the right price point.
Yeah.
And it's generally pretty easy to find. Some of the more exotic stuff, like again, I don't know if these 8 years. I think they're in store. But even their standard offering is phenomenal. Yeah. So let's dive into the rye. I think.
8 year too.
8 year as well, yeah.
Okay.
I think also what I like to do sometimes, like if I know I'm going to have some whiskey on a Friday or Saturday or whatever day it is, not to who cares.
Yeah, he's lost track of the days of the week already. That's pretty good.
Sometimes I'll pour it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go do things. I'll let it sit for a little bit because it's amazing just like pouring a little bit of whiskey in a glass like this.
Yeah.
The aroma can fill the room.
Oh yeah.
Just by sitting there for a little bit. So, all right.
It really can. That is interesting.
And well, it's different than I was like at first. I thought it was the same as nose, but it's different. There is a spice.
There is, yeah.
This one was like the salted caramel, toffee. Ethanol's strong on both of these.
So. It is. Yeah, it is. But yeah, this definitely has more of that spice to it. Maybe almost like a clove-ish pepper mixture.
I like the clove.
Yeah. It's definitely there. But for a rye, it's still pretty subtle a little bit.
Yeah, it's not jumping out.
It's not
rye.
Yeah.
All right.
That's right.
Jumping in. It's so smooth. But the rye comes.
The rye comes. It's a really late hit. It is smooth. It's and the heat is very, what John said, it's very gradual. You know, it doesn't pound you right at the front, but as it gets down in the back of your neck and your throat,
yeah, it's there.
It comes alive.
You know, you're having a drink.
Yeah.
But I like how soft it is at first.
Yeah. I mean, it's really smooth for rye.
I mean, there's that spice. I like the clove. I think I pick up clove like it's like when you make a ham at Thanksgiving and you buy one of those little cloves.
Yep.
Like I don't know if you've ever done that. I don't do this today, but I have smoked a clove cigarette before. It's kind of like that. I mean, it does do a little bit of tingle in your mouth, I think. So.
Yeah, the clove's there. I mean, the clove is there.
It's so interesting to me. Like, okay, we've talked about there's infinite, it seems like, variations with bourbons, but ryes are interesting to me.
They're
really interesting to me.
Yeah.
I rarely have any two ryes that taste the same.
They're completely different. I mean, it is hard to actually say, well, yeah, this tastes like a this. Because they all have just enough different. I don't know if it's where they purchased the rye. I don't know where it's. I mean, there's something there that's different. It's all different. But yeah, this is one of the better ryes out there.
Oh, it's good. It's like I said. I think if you're looking, and I think two things. If you're maybe new to bourbons and new to ryes, I think the price. This is gonna feel like a little bit more sophisticated than some of the $20, $30 bottles.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And I think you're going to be, like I said, I can't remember exactly, somewhere between $40 and $60. So I feel like you're leveling up a little bit with this.
Yeah, I think you are.
And I think this is a rye that if you maybe have been on the rye fence and haven't really explored that too much, this is one that's not going to scare you.
Yeah,
because it drinks a little bit like a bourbon at the front and the mid, and then that rye comes in a little late. But I don't think it drinks like a rye.
I don't need I mean, everybody knows I really love Wild Turkey.
Yeah.
This is smoother than like a Wild Turkey 101. And I really like Wild Turkey 101. This is, for to say that about a rye is unusual. Because you have a lot of people out there who says, no, I don't want rye. I don't like the heat and all that stuff. But they'll drink 100 proof bourbon. Yeah. If you can drink 100 proof bourbon, this rye is probably for you.
It's really good.
It's really smooth.
Highly recommend. I'm going to be a new Riff customer. Continue to be a new Riff customer. You know, these 8 years, they're good.
Really
so good. You know, I personally recommend go visit them. I mean, if you're in Central Indiana, it's a couple hours away. I mean, there's not. I mean, the season's almost over and the Reds aren't very good. But there's lots of things to do. It sucks, man, because I've been a Reds fan. You have been my entire life, and it's like they almost. I'm going to go on a tangent for a moment. They almost got to 500.
Almost. They tried.
And then they just took a dump.
Yeah.
Come on, Reds.
Yeah.
Get back. Do better. But anyway, Cincinnati's a good town. Lots to do. You know, Newport. There's a lot going on there. It's just a really great area, and it's just a short trip away. But the distillery, even if I like distillery tours.
Yeah, I do too.
But going and visiting there, it's worth, you know, it's a good weekend getaway. So, highly recommend it. So, anyway, any other thoughts?
Share and like.
We
appreciate that. New Riff, they put out some outstanding products.
They do. So, go buy it.
Go get it. We appreciate you guys taking a look at the video.
All right. Thank you all.